Hello to everyone and welcome to our Maintaining a Healthy Immune System presentation, which is brought to you by United Healthcare today. If you don't know me, my name is Amy Hertog and I am a nurse liaison with United Healthcare. So let us begin. We have some objectives for you today. So during this presentation, we're going to learn about our immune system. And more specifically, what we're going to learn about are the components of our immune system, how our immune system functions in order to help protect us, which factors will influence our immune system, tips to maintain a healthy immune system, and available United Healthcare resources. So what is your immune system? Your immune system is a complex network of cells and proteins that defends the body against diseases. And we're just talking about diseases that can be caused by bacterium or viruses or other microorganisms, abnormally functioning cells such as cancer. So your immune system does have something to do with cancer sometimes, and exposure to chemicals or toxins. There are a lot of components to your immune system, and these include, but really aren't limited to, things such as white blood cells. So for example, lymphocytes are a type of white blood cell, and they're actually natural killer T and B cells that fight pathogens. You have antibodies, and antibodies are proteins that neutralize these pathogens. You have something called the complement system, which enhances the ability of those antibodies and phagocytic cells to clear these microbes and damaged cells from your body, promote inflammation, and alter that pathogen cell's membrane. You have the lymphatic system, which transports something called lymph, and that's a fluid containing infection-fighting white blood cells throughout the body. Then you have your spleen. And immune cells are enriched in certain areas of the spleen. So the spleen is important for your immune system. You have a tiny little gland in your chest called the thymus, and the thymus produces cancer-fighting T cells, and it disappears around the age of 65. It actually turns into a kind of a fatty little mass over time. And then you have bone marrow. And your bone marrow produces some lymphocytes, which are white blood cells that help your immune system. There's other components to your immune system, and that includes your tonsils, the mucous membranes in your body, and even your own skin is serving your immune system right now. So there are different types of immunity. Humans have 3 types of immunity. So if we look at the screen, you have innate, adaptive, and passive. Everyone is born with innate or natural immunity, and it's just a type of general protection. So for example, going back to your skin acts as a barrier to block germs from entering your body. Then you have adaptive or active immunity that develops throughout our lives. And we develop this adaptive immunity when we're either exposed to diseases or when we're immunized against them with vaccines. That is adaptive immunity. And then you have finally passive immunity, which is actually borrowed from another source, and it lasts for just a short time. So to give you an example of passive immunity, antibodies in a mother's breast milk give a baby temporary immunity to diseases that the mother has been exposed to. So you have innate, adaptive, and passive immunity. So how does your immune system really work? So the immune system can distinguish between normal healthy cells and unhealthy cells by recognizing a variety of what are called danger cues or danger-associated molecular patterns. So cells can become unhealthy because of things like infection or because of cellular damage caused by non-infectious agents like sunburn or cancer. Those are things that can damage our cells. Infectious pathogens such as viruses and bacteria will release another set of signals that are recognized by your immune system. And when the immune system first recognizes those signals, it usually moves to address the problem. So an immune system or response can't be activated when there's sufficient needs, then we have problems that come up, like infection. But on the other hand, when an immune response is activated without a real threat or is not turned off once the danger passes, then we can encounter a different set of problems, such as allergic reactions and autoimmune disease. So how do we know if our immune system is healthy? When our immune system is functioning properly, we don't even really notice that it's there. It's not something that we necessarily feel. There's things that indicate a healthy immune system, and those include normally functioning T and B lymphocytes and the presence of antibodies in our body or blood. So what can happen? Your physician may order blood tests if he or she is concerned about the functioning of your immune system. And some of those tests are listed on the slide. So there are things like complement levels in the blood, and that's a test that measures the activity of certain proteins in your blood, which promote immune and inflammatory responses. An HIV test, something called protein electrophoresis, and that test examines certain proteins in your blood called globulins. They may do a white blood cell count or a T lymphocyte count, or even an immunoglobulin test, and that test is going to measure the amounts of immunoglobulins, also known as antibodies, in your blood. So if your doctor is thinking maybe your immune system is not functioning very well, they may order some of these tests to check your immune system. So there may be certain signs of an unhealthy immune system. And if you've ever noticed you're often ill or fatigued, it may mean your immune system has weakened. And it's important to pay attention to any of these potential warning signs, which are listed on the slide. Those signs include long-term stress, because that may weaken how our immune system responds. Stress can actually just decrease our lymphocytes, which again are those white blood cells that help us fight off infections. So when our lymphocytes are low, we're more at risk for catching viruses such as the common cold. So stress can impact your immune system. We know it's normal for most adults to have a cold maybe 2 or 3 times a year, but if you're consistently catching colds, it may indicate that your immune system is having some difficulty doing its job. So constant colds can be a warning sign. Frequent digestive problems, so things such as diarrhea, constipation, or gas, that could indicate a problem. There's many helpful bacteria and microorganisms in our digestive tract, and they help protect and support our immune system. So when these helpful bacteria are low, you may be at risk for certain illnesses. Slow wound healing may be an indicator of an unhealthy immune system. So our healing process depends on healthy immune cells. And when we experience an injury, for example, a cut, our body sends nutrient-rich blood to the site to help new skin grow, and to help that wound heal. If our immune system isn't working well, our skin can have a difficult time healing. If you experience frequent infections, so think of sinusitis, ear infections, pneumonia, your immune system could be sending you some warning signs with that. And then there's frequent fatigue. And if you get enough sleep and you still feel tired, your immune system may be sending you a message with that, because we know that when our immune systems are challenged, so are our energy levels. And the body is then trying to preserve energy. So if you find yourself feeling real tired, wore out a lot, even if you're getting enough sleep, that could be a warning sign for your immune system. So let's talk about, we're going to talk a little bit about risk factors. So there's one non-modifiable risk factor for your immune system, and that answer is age. As we age, our immune systems may not just quite work as well as they used to. Therefore, we may experience some changes in our immune system, and we're going to go over those changes. Our immune system can have a slower response time, which makes our risk of becoming ill go up. Vaccines or flu shots may not work, be as effective, or offer protection for quite as long as we had anticipated. We can experience an autoimmune disorder, and those disorders occur when our immune system attacks and destroys healthy tissues in our bodies by mistake. If we go back to that one slide, we talked about an overactive immune system. That would involve autoimmune disorder. Our bodies may heal more slowly than before, as we have fewer immune cells for the healing process. And lastly, the immune system, it may not be able to detect or correct changes in cells as we age, and that can increase the risk of developing cancer. So our immune system becomes a little less responsive as we age, and all of these things can play into how our bodies are going to respond. So that leads us to modifiable risk factors, which are the things that we can have some control over when it comes to our immune system. And these modifiable risk factors, they can influence how well our immune system will work for us. So modifiable risk factors that impact the immune system include diet, sleep, exercise, stress, our environment, vaccinations, and alcohol and or tobacco use can impact our immune system. So now we're going to talk a little bit more about our modifiable risk factors. So scientists have long recognized that people who are malnourished are also more vulnerable to infectious diseases. And we know that eating a healthy diet can actually help our immune system. So the tips on this page, we're going to start with reducing your sugar intake. It's actually one of the most important steps you can take to strengthen your immune system. Spikes in sugar intake can actually suppress your immune system, and eating or drinking too much sugar curbs the immune system cells that attack the bacteria. So if you find yourself eating a lot of sugar these days, it certainly might be something you want to cut back on. Maintaining a healthy gut flora is an underrated step in maintaining a healthy immune system. So fermented foods, such as plain yogurt, kimchi, and sauerkraut, these actually contain healthy bacteria, which will balance your gut flora. Fiber is next. Consuming fiber-rich foods also supports gut health. And you may want to take a probiotic supplement containing at least 30 billion CFUs. Okay, so there are things you can take that will support your gut health. And last, we see healthy oils. So using healthy oils, such as those made from olive, flaxseed, rapeseed, which is actually canola oil, those types of oils can help keep inflammation in check. So avoid excess sugar, consider fermented foods to support your healthy gut flora, consume more fiber because that's going to support your gut flora, and make sure you're eating healthy oils. Next up is fruits and veggies. These have key nutrients and antioxidants that the body needs to maintain a strong immunity. So you've heard the term, eat the rainbow, meaning the more vibrant the colors of your fruits and veggies, the better. And you should aim for at least 2.5 cups of vegetables and 2 cups of fruit per day. That's the recommendation for getting all those fruits and veggies in. Vitamin C. So the human body cannot produce vitamin C on its own, and therefore it's important to consume vitamin C in your diet. It's a well-known potent antioxidant, and it also has positive effects on your skin health and your immune function. So fruits and veggies, again, are good sources of vitamin C. And in particular, yellow peppers, kiwi, kale, broccoli, lemons, oranges, and strawberries. And lucky for us, we live in the Sunshine State, and we have lots of those types of foods, particularly lemons, oranges, and strawberries. Zinc, it's actually a very important mineral for a healthy immune response. Zinc keeps the immune system strong, it helps heal wounds, and it supports normal cell growth. So foods such as shellfish, lentils, chickpeas, beans, pumpkin seeds, peanuts, cashews, almonds, dairy products, eggs, and dark chocolate are all known to contain some zinc. And with the dark chocolate, it has to be at least 70% cocoa. So not milk chocolate. Don't eat a milk chocolate bar and think, oh, I'm getting all my zinc today. You need the dark chocolate to get the zinc. Okay. And of course, as always with chocolate, moderation, right? We can't tell you to go eat a chocolate bar every day. You'll be fine. Okay. So now we are on exercise. Just like a healthy diet, exercise can contribute to general good health and therefore contribute to a healthy immune system. And what we know about exercise is that it may help us to manage other conditions and lead to less chance for complications in the event of illness. So I'm going to discuss the ways that exercise is helping your immune system. One, exercise promotes healthy circulation. You get your blood pumping and moving through your body, then your tissue is being nourished with the nutrients and the oxygen in your blood. So, get your blood pumping there. Exercise reduces the stress hormones, which may have a negative impact on our immune system. So if we go back to that other slide, we mentioned that stress and immune system issues are linked. So if you're exercising, then you're reducing your stress hormones. Exercise improves your heart health. It lowers your blood sugar levels. So going back to reducing your sugar intake, it's a wonderful way to also bring your sugar level down is to get some exercise. Exercise lowers your blood pressure, and it helps you control your weight, okay? So these are all good reasons to exercise. So we're gonna move on to sleep. During sleep, your immune system releases these proteins called cytokines, some of which help promote sleep. And certain cytokines need to increase when you have an infection or inflammation or when you're under stress. We know that sleep deprivation may decrease production of those protective cytokines. So in order to promote sleep, we want you to consider the following ideas and strategies. Follow a regular sleep schedule, go to sleep and get up the same time every day, even on weekends or when you're traveling. Avoid napping in the late afternoon or evening if you can, because naps can keep you awake at night and actually be more disruptive to your sleep if you're napping late in the afternoon or evening. Develop a bedtime routine. So take some time to relax before bedtime each night. Some people may read a book, listen to soothing music, or soak in a really warm bath. You want to keep your television, your computer, your cell phone, your tablet. You don't want to be using those right before bedtime. And we know that the light from those devices can make it difficult for you to fall asleep. And also alarming or unsettling shows or movies, like horror movies, those can keep you awake. Watching the news late at night, that can keep you awake. So try not to do anything that's going to prevent your sleep. Keep your bedroom at a comfortable temperature. So not too hot or too cold. You also want to keep your bedroom a quiet place, right? You don't want a lot of noise in there when you're trying to sleep. Use low lighting in the evenings as you prepare for bed, okay? Exercise at regular times each day, but not within 3 hours of your bedtime. So you have time to wind down, your body has time to relax. Avoid eating large meals close to bedtime. We know that those can keep us awake if we're eating a lot of food right at bedtime. Stay away from caffeine late in the day. Caffeine is found in coffee, tea, soda, and chocolate. That can keep you awake. I think the general rule of thumb with caffeine is, try not to drink anything with caffeine after 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And just remember that alcohol won't help you sleep. Even small amounts make it harder to stay asleep because alcohol can actually prevent you from reaching the deeper stages of sleep with rapid eye movement or REM. So when you drink alcohol before bed, that actually can ruin your sleep. So we're going to talk about stress because we've mentioned that stress can impact your immune system. Stress drags on for long periods of time. Chronic stress, I know a lot of us are feeling that right now. That can lower your immune system. So beyond making you more vulnerable to things such as colds, chronic stress has been shown to enhance risk for developing autoimmune disease. Stress can be handled in a myriad of ways. So practicing mindfulness, taking time out for yourself, and getting some exercise may be helpful. And beyond the day-to-day, if stress becomes out of hand or difficult to manage, it's always okay to seek some professional help. Call your EAP, look at your EAP's, web page, see what resources are out there. It's always okay to reach out. So we're going to talk a little bit about vaccinations, hot topic, right? But vaccines are part of the acquired immunity that we get throughout our lives. So vaccines will help fight infections faster and more effectively. When you get a vaccine, what it does is it sparks your immune response by creating antibodies as a response to the vaccination. So you may not realize that you need vaccines throughout your life. It's not over in childhood. Adults need to keep their vaccinations up to date because immunity from childhood vaccines can wear off over time. They don't just protect you, they also protect the people around you. And certainly with other types of vaccines, they're more age related. For example, at a certain age, you would need a pneumonia vaccination. At a certain age, you need a shingles vaccination. So these are things to think about, that these vaccines, we use them throughout our lifespan. And that's why preventive screening in early stages of life, it's so important. And those recommendations include follow the recommended vaccination schedule, keep a record to stay up to date on your vaccinations, and just be aware that you may need other vaccinations based on your age, your health condition, your job, lifestyle, or travel habits. So there's different reasons why we want to monitor our vaccinations and make sure that we're all up to date and we're following the guidelines. This will be an unpopular slide, but limit alcohol. So the first point of contact for alcohol as it passes through the body is where it's absorbed to the bloodstream. And one of the most immediate effects is that it affects the structure and integrity of the gastrointestinal tract. It alters the function of an extensive community of microorganisms in the intestine that aid in the function of the immune system. And alcohol consumption damages the cells that act as first responders when our body needs to fight a disease. It can affect the bacteria in the gut, causing the liver to activate an autoimmune response. And if it's chronic, that autoimmune response can lead to alcoholic liver disease. Limiting your alcohol is definitely a good thing to do for your immune system. So we know that tobacco consumption is associated with numerous diseases, and it poses a serious challenge in our healthcare system. Smoking impacts the innate and the adaptive immunity that our body develops. Smoke from tobacco contains a lot of chemicals, things like carbon monoxide, nicotine, nitrogen oxides, and cadmium. And all those chemicals can interfere with the development of the brain. They can cause respiratory and cardiovascular disease. They can cause infections. They can cause cancer. These chemicals are also considered responsible parties in decreased functionality of the immune system to fight cancerous cells, common colds, and viruses. Smoking can harm the capability of the body to health properly due to the nicotine effect on the circulatory system, and that prevents oxygen to properly reach the affected organs or part of the body. Basically, that nicotine effect causes your blood vessels to vasoconstrict or tighten down. And when that happens, less blood is getting to the tissue in your body to feed it oxygen and nutrients and to remove waste products, right, from your metabolism. So not a good thing. So whether you're trying to quit, or maybe there's somebody in your family that you're trying to encourage to quit, these are just some quick tips for quitting tobacco. Try nicotine replacement therapy to minimize cravings. Identify and avoid situations that trigger tobacco use, avoid the triggers. Delay, so if you feel yourself giving into a tobacco craving, maybe give yourself 10 more minutes and do something else to divert your mind. Don't have just one, so don't fool yourself into having just one cigarette because it often leads to another cigarette. We know that physical activities, things like that can distract us from cravings and lessen their intensity. You might want to take the edge off stress by practicing relaxation techniques. So things like deep breathing exercises, muscle relaxation, yoga, visualization, massage, or listen to calming music. Sometimes if we de-stress, we're less likely to turn to something that, we use as a coping mechanism in an unhealthy way. Touch base with a family member, a friend, a support group member for help in your effort to resist a tobacco craving. Chat on the phone, go for a walk together, share a few laughs, get together to commiserate about your cravings. You know, sometimes just having that support system can make a big difference. Join an online stop smoking program, read a quitter's blog, and post encouraging thoughts for someone else who might be struggling with tobacco cravings. You might learn from how others have handled their tobacco cravings when you visit these sites. Some people have some really great tips out there. But I like the last one the most. Remind yourself of the benefits. So write down or say out loud the reasons you want to stop smoking and resist the tobacco cravings. And those things can just include feeling better, getting healthier, sparing your loved ones from secondhand smoke, or saving money. You know, sometimes when we think about our end goals, those are really important to remember. So just in conclusion, the immune system, it's really a complex network of cells and proteins that defends the body against pathogens and diseases. And it accomplishes that task under normal activation, but it can become overactivated or underactivated due to a deficiency. We know that aging is a non-modifiable risk factor, and other risk factors include things that we can change. So diet, sleep, exercise, stress, environment, getting our vaccinations, limiting our alcohol and tobacco usage. Those are things we can change or modify. And then we have resources available to manage our health and our modifiable risk factors. So this is our end slide here. You know, you have your wellness coaching programs that includes Quit Tobacco. There's also wellness coaching for stress less. There's wellness coaching for nutrition, for exercise, for general wellness. So I'd encourage you, if you identify something you need to work on to get your immune system healthy, consider those wellness coaching programs. myuhc.com. If you're looking for other resources to achieve better health, you can do that. Rally is in there as well. Rally are those fun little missions you can do. Sometimes we need to just do something in baby steps, right? We can't make big sweeping changes sometimes. So Rally offers a lot of resources and health goal missions that you can easily accomplish to help you set some SMART goals, stick to a routine, stay on target. And we have, you know, the Healthy Pregnancy Program app for anybody out there that's thinking about being pregnant or is already pregnant. That's always a wonderful app, especially right now, to have a healthy pregnancy. So that's it. And I want to thank you for your time and for joining me today for this presentation.
Thank you as well.
Does anybody have any questions that they want to either put in the chat or unmute themselves?
I was going to say, you get heat again? No.